Alright guys, welcome back to Marshall Remodel. On today's show, we are going to show you how to get your furnace, A-coil, plenum, and all your ductwork hooked up on a furnace AC unit. This is what we're going to cover today, what I got installed here, right here. I spent all week driving around finding parts, finding the stuff I need. So 3 days. And I got both the upstairs and downstairs furnace and AC units set in place, all the ductwork hooked up. So let's go ahead and jump into the show. Alright guys, so before we get started, let's just talk about the different pieces to a furnace and AC. I'm just going to give you a real basic rundown. This is the furnace portion, the air handler. We got the fan is down here, you got all your electronics. This is your gas valve right here. You have your orifices right here that blow gas into the heat exchanger. So basically the hot flames are getting blown inside here. And it goes all the way down into this radiator. And the purpose of this is to keep your blowing hot flames in here, which are heating these up, and then as the air gets blown through here, it goes through that radiator and across these, and it heats the air. And the purpose of this is to contain the burnt gases and keep them separate from the air going through your house, obviously. So this is the furnace unit. If you have an air conditioner, in my case this is an upflow, my A-coil, which I'll show you right in just a minute, will sit right on top of this. So it'll sit right over this edge. So I'll go show you that right now. So this is the top. They called an A-coil, obviously, because it is in the shape of an A. It goes down that way, and it goes down that way. And this contains your line set that takes your, you got your suction line, and then you got your refrigerant line. That goes out to the outside portion of your air conditioner. So that comes in and it runs through, real basic, it runs through all this, making this all cold, and when your air comes up through the furnace, it runs through this radiator, cooling the air. I'm not going to get into the process of what happens in this, but that's just a real basic. So the air flows up through here, and then your plenum, which is what all your supply ducts hook to, sits on top of that. So that's what I'm going to build now. So I have to get a measurement. My plenum's going to sit right around the edge of this. So it is 19.5 by 19.5. So first thing I know, I'm going to have to add to the metal that I have for this plenum. So I have an adjustable plenum, so I'll build the bottom part, and then I will add the height I need to get up into the attic to connect to the supplies. So the first thing is to make the box. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so there's 4 of these, and they're 36 inches tall. And they are 19 3/4. Literally like an 1/8 inch bigger than what I want. The first thing I'm going to do, since I have to add to this, I am going to take this bottom, which is actually the top, and I'm going to flip this over 180 degrees so that will sit on that A-coil nice and neat. This is how I've done it before when I have to add to the top of it to make it higher. So go ahead and flip all those around and get these cut to 19 5/8 width, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I know you can hire somebody to make all this, but the problem around here is anybody that's any good at anything is super busy. So I just choose to buy adjustable plenums and then cut them down to the size I need. And if I need to add any height, I do that. The benefit of doing it this way is if these adjustable plenums come with all the bends on them for hooking the ductwork together, so that is what is nice in my case, because I don't have a machine to run the sheet metal through to get those bends and grooves. So just something to think about. This takes a little bit of time, but you can save a ton of money and it can be done nicely. Alright guys, so there's the first part of it. I did a test fit, fits really good. Now I'm going to go up to the utility room, get up in the attic and measure up to see how high that main supply is, so that I can take my plenum, you know, a couple inches above that is all I want to go. So I'm going to go up there and do that right now, and then I'll be able to figure out how much I got to add to this to get it up. Well, there's all my math, but the only number that matters is that right there. I have to add 19 7/8 in height to that, so I have another set of adjustable ducts, so just a bunch more cutting and whatnot, and I'll use S-cleat to secure this all together. Alright, so there the plenum is. So that'll sit on top of the A-coil, and then this will go up, and about right here is where it goes into the attic. So that main trunk will tie in. So once I get this up in there, I'll have to put this up in the attic, put the furnace, A-coil in spot, and then drop this back down through the hole. So one more step closer. All these will get sealed up, these corners, with putty and tape. So just gonna throw some screws in here and we'll be done. So I determined how my furnace is gonna sit. I cut out the side where my return is going to go. This is a better look at that fan. That's the blower fan. So my return boot's going to hook up right here. So I'm going to go get that, get some butyl tape, and get that all screwed on. Now that I have the furnace kind of in the general location, I'm going to cut the ceiling out, and I'm going to cut it out a little bit bigger than what I need, and then I will come back and fill it with drywall after I get it all up in there. But now I'm cutting into the return, adding a takeoff so that I can get my return duct ran down into the room. So now I'm going to add the A-coil to the top of the furnace. I put a layer of butyl tape around where the A-coil is going to sit. And once you get that set on there, that stuff is really sticky and it creates a really good seal. Alright, we got our A coil all attached and screwed in place. This is all held in place with some brackets I just made out of C-cleat. And now I got to hook my main supply trunk up to my plenum, which is sitting up there. I got the hole cut in it, so I got to lower it down and set it over this lip. And I got some sealant down along here. It's called butyl tape. It's really sticky, so that'll sit down on top of this, and then I'll put screws down through here to hold it in place. Alright, I patched some drywall back in. I will make that look nice later. But you can see now I spray foamed around these up at the top. So they're completely sealed off. So now we're going to go through the process of sealing off these ducts in the attic, which is extremely, extremely important. So it can be done, and you can have good, efficient ductwork in your attic if it's done properly. So I use polystyrene. If you watched my video before, you see how I did it, but I'm going to do that to the top of the plenum and this return trunk. So I'll go up there and show you. So you can see I'm all sealed around the bottom where those ducts come up through. So now we're boxing this in. As you can see, I got polystyrene on the sides, and now I'm going to lay one over the top. That'll be my first layer. And then I make sure on the second layer all the seams are overlapped. So instead of this dying here, this one will overlap to the outside, if that makes sense. But I'm going to lay one across the top here. And we will get that all taped down, and then we will bring in another layer that overlaps. So the next one will come up to here, and then again will overlap, so that way no air can get to that. And then we'll put some Reflectix over the top of all that. Probably 100 degrees up here in the attic. I got up at 5:15 to start this, and I got most of the hard stuff done early. So, all right, guys, we are all done. We got 2 layers of 1-inch polystyrene, which is equivalent to R10. All of the seams were taped. On every time there was an overlap, they were taped. All the corners were spray foamed. You can see I spray foamed around the flexible duct hooked up. So this is good and airtight. Now I'm going to put all this insulation kind of back down and get my Reflectix down over these trunks. That's what it is. That's the main supply that runs down through. Can't even tell that it's in there right there, but I'm going to wrap it with Reflectix and then get all this insulation put back in here, and we should be good to go. And we will be done in the hot attic. Alright, we finished up in the attic, thank God. I didn't add any insulation in this area or right here, because we're going to have the vents to the furnace going up through here, so I didn't want to have to move it all. And then the water heater is going to sit here, and the vents will go up through there, so I didn't want to have to move a bunch of insulation. So we're all done up there. All the ductwork's insulated, covered up, and I'm down to my last piece, which is right here to connect the return supply to the return supply boot on the furnace. So I have enough room that I can just slide it in there, so I'll put my S-cleat on here and then we'll slide that in there. It's a little tricky, but I've done this and I like doing this over using the flexible pieces. That's just my preference. The only catch is you have to have enough room where you can slide it straight in. Alright, so now we're going to put the S-cleat on, and when I slide these in, I like to have all the S-cleat on that part. So we'll get those all in place, and then I'll take my screwdriver and run that through there so it's open enough that this will easily slide in there. Now I'm going to get my drive or C cleats ready. So we got that slid in there, so we'll put the C cleats on each side here. That'll kind of hold it together. This might be a little tricky down here. So you can see we got this connected. So you can easily, I wouldn't say easily, but pretty easily slide a piece in without a flexible duct, as long as you have room to slide it in from the side. You can see I got a strap here, a strap there, so I'm going to place one down here and one down here. And all I use is leftover pieces of the S-cleat. I'll just put a 90-degree bend on them, and then they make good straps. So we're going to get that strap. This is nice and solid, but I'm going to go ahead and put one on this other piece. So I'll just take my bender, put a 90-degree bend on it. Alright guys, well I hope that was helpful to somebody. On part 2 of this series, we will show hooking up the vent, hooking up the electric, the thermostat, the gas line, and basically getting this all ready for it to be fired up and ready to go. And then we will cover that part in another episode. If you guys live in an area like I do, where everybody is super busy, this may be something, I don't know what your skills are, this may be something you want to try on your own. You can definitely save thousands of dollars, but the reason it costs so much to have these installed because it is a ton of work. So I apologize for not working on the house, but since I got these, I wanted to get these furnace and ACs up and running so that I can work in the house in nice, cool climate. It'll make it much more enjoyable, and it'll make the wife a lot happier. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next video.